Turn right.
If America took umbrage about that and started closing those embassies in America, in those countries' embassies in America,
I think that way lies diplomatic madness.
Exactly. America would not allow that to happen.
No.
America would not allow that to happen. And
it will be countries do not
Keep
close
left.
embassies for those reasons, and I don't agree with your comparison between Israel and South Africa. I think it's a really lazy comparison, actually.
Caution,
People
mind
seem to use the
speed.
word apartheid without really knowing what it means, and I don't think you can use it in this context. But Jack, thank you very much indeed. Right, let's get a business update from Andy Sylvester. Andy, very good evening. Now, the bank has held interest rates to no one's surprise.
No, to no one's surprise, you're right, Ian, but there was a little bit of a surprise in the vote. It was 6-3, and it was 3 votes of the nine-person Monetary Policy Committee in favour of a rate hike.
Caution,
now that
please
did
mind
catch the
speed.
city by surprise, and most people have expected a hold, or that people might start thinking about rate cuts, definitely not the other way around. So traders started to price in the first rate cut now for June rather than May of next year. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it matters if it's your mortgage.
Well, it does, and I think there are so many consequences to this, aren't there? Because the higher interest rates are, the stronger your currency gets. Now, that has some advantages, but some disadvantages as well. And when the EU and America have much lower interest rates than us, presumably that's an incentive for foreigners to invest there rather than necessarily here.
It is. I mean, the Bank of England does not sully itself with those concerns. And if you talk to higher ups at the bank, they say we've got one job, which is to keep inflation at 2% and keep the financial system stable. There are those who say that the Bank of England has forgotten that it does also matter that the economy is growing. It does also matter that economic activity exists. And I think we will see more of that debate in the run-up to next year's election. Liz Truss tried to start it, and, well, we know what happened there.
Now, there's a new boss at Thames Water. Should we be putting out the bunting?
Maybe. He's a grown-up, which helps. 850 grand a year. Former Agreco CEO Chris Jepson. He is, by all accounts, everyone we've spoken to today, a very smart man, knows what he's doing. Can he turn around Thames Water? Can anyone turn around Thames Water? That's a more open question.
Now, Brits are spending less on a night out, which is bad news for nightclubs.
It is. 70 quid, apparently, is the average of what a Brit will spend on a night out. You know, when you're going out, Ian, like a Christmas party, an LBC Christmas party.
Which I gather you're not coming to.
I have been invited, Ian, very sad. You can have a word with your producer, Corey. He hasn't WhatsApped me yet. Anyway, it is bad news. It does reflect a wider economic cost of living concern. And it does reflect the fact that a lot of hospitality businesses, they're relying on this Christmas to keep them going because they're really worried about January and February. And the other problem that a lot of these hospitality businesses talk about, which they don't talk about too often publicly because they sort of feel slightly scared of pointing it out, an awful lot of 20-somethings, 30-somethings aren't drinking these days, and that does hit profits.
I'm reliably informed that you were invited, but you said you had a subsequent engagement.
I do not recall that.
Okay, well,
and if I did, I send great apologies.
I'll have my people speak to your people. He said hastily, very good evening. Thank you very much indeed. #Orcs. That's Andy Sylvester, editor of City AM. Now, in a moment, we will be talking to Henry Riley, our reporter, who has some, shall we say, rather concerning news about the cost of the COVID inquiry. It's 7:32. Amelia Cox has some news headlines.
A British schoolboy who went missing in Spain 6 years ago is believed to have been found in France. Alex Batty from Old Holden, who is now 17, disappeared on a family holiday aged 11. Norfolk police say they can't explain the behaviour of a missing woman last seen on CCTV almost a week ago. Detectives believe 55-year-old Gaynor Lord may have entered the River Wensum after finding her belongings in a nearby park. And a human rights expert for the UN has told LBC she's shocked but not surprised by the Israeli government's opposition to a two-state solution. Yesterday, Israeli Ambassador Tzipi Hotovely said they would not support an independent state for Palestinians. LBC weather, scattered showers continuing in the northwest tonight, largely dry elsewhere, a low of 1.
This is LBC. Help your business stand out from the crowd with mailboxes, etc. As experts in print and copy, we provide professional, competitively priced solutions every day. From vibrant leaflets, impactful brochures, eye-catching posters, or attention-grabbing banners, our local team has you covered. From single photocopies to high-quality digital printing, we're here to help your business stand out.
Mailboxes, etc.
People possible.
Washing, dishes, vacuuming, household chores never end, even for me, Albert Einstein. But you know what? I leave it all till later, because I've got a smart meter. And right now I'm part of a scheme where I get rewarded for changing when I use my energy. More than 1 million others took part last winter using less energy at peak times. Good, eh?
Get ready to start earning rewards. Search Get a Smart Meter today. Eligibility and availability vary. Consumer action required. Reward schemes available to selected customers.
Roll up for an entrancing
Caution,
delight.
please
A
mind speed.
mouth-marvelingly tastacular, wonderful sight. Uncannily, suckably, soothingly sumptuous. Mysteriously, mentally, tongue-twirlingly scrumptious. We see great flavour in your future. Marvel the menthol with Jakeman's of Boston since 1907.
At Tesco Mobile this Christmas, get the incredible iPhone 14 with AirPods Pro. This duo includes 5G plus 25 gigs of data, so you can enjoy all your favourite Christmas songs and adaptive audio, all for just $38.99 a month with club card prices, saving you £288. This is Supermarket Mobile. Search Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
Ends 28th of December. Club card and 36-month credit agreement required. Subject to status. Terms at tescomobile.com/terms.
At your work Christmas do? Not feeling the canapes? Why not get a pick-me-up with McDonald's limited edition Chicken Big Mac with 2 deliciously crispy chicken patties, our iconic Big Mac sauce, and gherkins, or not. Only available till the 3rd of January. Served from 11 a.m, subject to availability.
This is LBC with Ian Dale. Call 0345 6060 973.
7:35 on LBC. We'll come back to your calls on Israel in just a moment. But first, everyone got very, very angry about the amount of taxpayers' money that was wasted over PPE and track and trace. I think they're about to get angry about the cost of the COVID inquiry, which seems to be mushrooming out of all control. Now, in a sense, you can see all of those sort of banks of lawyers that are in that room. They don't come cheap. There'll be a couple of £1,000 a day, if not more. Some of them a couple of £1,000 an hour, I suspect. It seems to me the COVID inquiry is almost subsidising the entire London legal profession at the moment. Henry Riley is our reporter. He's had an exclusive today on the cost of the COVID inquiry and joins me now. What have you found out, Henry?
Well, Ian, good evening. We've found, alongside the public sector procurement platform Tussle, that the total value for private contracts relating to the COVID inquiry now stands at £145 million. Now, this was put to a Downing Street spokesperson earlier on this afternoon, who reiterated their support for the COVID inquiry. They say that the independent chair, Baroness Hallett, is merely acting within the realms, the terms that the inquiry was set by the government, and will take decisions as she sees fit, and that the government will continue to support the inquiry. But Ian, drilling into that £145 million, for example, there is one contract from the Cabinet Office to the law firm Burgess Salmon that is worth £13.9 million. And there is a data processing firm called Epic Systems that has been awarded over £25 million in government contracts. In fact, of the £145 million, the cost of solicitor and legal contracts is over a third, heard, it is over £50 million in total. Now, that won't be paid in one lump sum. That will be paid until the end of the inquiry, which is due to end in June 2026. Although, interestingly, some of the contracts go on until 2027. What is interesting as well, Ian, is I was speaking with a Conservative MP about this earlier on, who said that the inquiry so far is not doing what it was set up to do. They accused it of merely reflecting political tittle-tattle. When I asked them for their reasons, they cited some examples.
You turned on the disappearing message function in this WhatsApp group. New messages will disappear from this chat 7 days after they're sent.
Mr. Cummings is clearly expressing the view that he doesn't think the Prime Minister is up to the job. Did you agree with that?
You don't now have access to any of the WhatsApps that you did send during the time of the crisis, do you?
No, I don't.
You called ministers useless pigs, morons, in emails and WhatsApps to your professional colleagues. Do you think you contributed to a lack of effectiveness on the part of ministers?
Now, responding to our findings of £145 million worth of pledged COVID contracts, the Liberal Democrat leader, Sir Ed Davey, said it showed more signs of government incompetence.
The Conservatives' failure on COVID, whether it's how they managed the pandemic or now the aftermath, is absolutely terrible. It's shocking. And now they look like they're making mistakes over the inquiry. The inquiry is important, let me be clear. We need to learn the lessons. We saw the huge cost of the pandemic, but I just worry the government, yet again, are doing this incompetently.
Now, the COVID inquiry has officially cost over £56 million. That's according to the inquiry's documents from its inception until the 30th of September. If you apply that sort of average monthly limit, it's around about £70 million now. We know that £30 million has been spent on legal costs. The inquiry secretariat has cost £7 million, and the chair, Baroness Hallett, has received a remuneration of £259,000. Lastly, in response, a spokesperson for the inquiry told me the inquiry chair, Baroness Hallett, set out in her opening statement the substantial task faced by the inquiry to consider and report on the preparations and the response to the pandemic. She made it clear that to do so and to do it properly will take time and have significant cost. Ian, they also told me the inquiry regularly publishes its financial information and that there are rigorous processes in place to make sure they are delivering value for money.
Henry, thank you very much indeed. That's Henry Riley, LBC's reporter. Right, back to your calls. Actually, before we come back to your calls, Andy Sylvester has just sent a WhatsApp to Corey apologising that he did get the invite, but he can't come. Even I was doubting myself there. Right, let's go to Joseph in Swindon. Hello, Joseph.
Hi, evening, Ian.
Hi.
I think to answer your question, first of all, to answer your question, I think the British government is shifting more in their support towards the Israeli government. But on the second part with the Israeli ambassador, I think she have a point. And I think for 25 years or more, the rest of the world have put up that two-state solution for Israel and for the Israel and the Palestine, to have a two-state solution. That hasn't worked. No matter what they have tried, various prime ministers, various governments, almost every world leaders have tried to find a two-state solution. So when she said we stick